Hello, YouTube. It's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé The Single Life, Season 4, Episode 2, Tyray's First Date. And before we talk about how Tyray's first date really went, we're going to get started with the other singles. I want to start this off with Chantel. So last week, we all know Chantel and Pedro are done, and Chantel's here on the single life. Chantel is with her girlfriends, and they're in Greece, and they're trying to have like a girls trip to Greece and fly. In my opinion, Chantel has been acts a little bit ratchet. Her and her friends are acting a little bit wretched. They're partying, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't know. It's just at a certain age, that's just not my cup of tea. It is even not my cup of tea to even watch, really. Just seeing some ratchet girls, loud and obnoxious, just trying to hit on every guy, every good-looking guy that comes about and stuff. That's just not my forte. And honestly, if I would have seen that, if I was in person, I was seeing a group of ratchet girls like that, that actually is a turn off for me. I mean, I don't know what some other guys are, but that's not something that turns me on. So in this episode, they meet with this Greek tour guide, and they take him to this like olive oil like thing, and they thought they were gonna try some wine and olive oil and stuff, and quite frankly they didn't. So then after their little activity was done, their tour guide invited them to do for some drinks and some dancing. So they go to this nightclub and whatever, and Chantel meets this like soccer player. I forget his name, but she was like, I'm young, I'm in my prime, bring on the men and all that crap. And she has a conversation with this guy who plays soccer, and I mean, he seemed okay. She told him that she's just recently been married and recently divorced and stuff, and she said he was unfazed by it, and she said he's pretty good looking. So we'll see how that plays out in a preview, see if they have a second actually go on a real date or not. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that was basically what we get. This episode was only an hour long, so there's not much to really dig deep into here. So that was Chantel. Next person I'm going to talk is Natalie and Josh. So Natalie and Josh, last week, she got mad because Josh was supposed to lied about him being gone for a couple weeks, for a week and stuff, and Natalie brought her mom here, and they're just needing a place to live, and they live in LA. Well, this episode, Josh has been calling Natalie a lot, and she's been ignoring him. But then finally she's at the beach, and she finally answered his calls, and he apologized for what happened last week and wants to make it up to her. And he's like, I do want to find you a place to live and everything. So Natalie said, yes, we'll go I accept apology, and let's go basically look at apartments. So they go to this apartment. It was a nice apartment, nice size. It was one bedroom and everything. But y'all, let me tell y'all something. In they ain't lying when they say things are expensive in California. That apartment was $2,600 a month, and they had to do a background check and a credit check. And I'm just like, why? I mean, okay, I get a background check. Why do you have to do a credit check? Why do especially when you're renting an apartment, why is there a credit check needed when you're renting an apartment? Maybe I can see if you're possibly buying a house, but for renting an apartment, especially a one-bedroom apartment, they need a credit check, especially for a $2,600 a month one. That's ridiculous. And Natalie has said, you could get something way cheaper in Florida, where she was originally staying at. And I agree with her. That's ridiculous. And they asked, will it be the lady that was showing them the house or the apartment, she was like, one of you can be the guarantor or whatever. And Natalie asked Josh, and Josh was like, we'll have to see about that. And then once again, they get into another fight. Just like, Natalie's like, what do you have to see about? And Josh was basically saying, I want to be committed. Like, I need to know, like, if this is a real thing before we have any joint anything and everything. And she's like, oh, so you're unsure? Like, you don't think we could do it, blah, 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 whatever, and everything. And that just led to another argument. I see Josh's point with that because he's about to he could sign a lease with somebody, and he wants to be sure. And so I get it, but Natalie does need a place to stay. But California or LA, or at least LA, is not the way to go. Clearly. They said it was in a nice neighborhood and everything. It was a nice apartment, but that just blows my mind on how expensive that was and everything. Like, I have something better than that for half that price, basically. Not even half of that price, like a third, like a third of that price, basically. So I don't know, California, man. Like, whoever's watching that lives in California, God bless you guys. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how y'all surviving out there. Just because I had plans to come to the West Coast for so long, and that was the only thing that basically held me back, is that the price is there. So, like, if I come to the West Coast, I don't know if I'm living in California. I may just go to Nevada, Washington, or Oregon, in my opinion. But I'm definitely not living in California with them prices. That's just ridiculous. So, yeah, that was Natalie and Josh. Next person I'm going to talk is, we got to meet Veronica. Veronica, Jamal, and Tim. So this triangle. So we start with Veronica. Now, we know Veronica mostly from Pillow Talk. Her and Tim have, Veronica has been married before. She got married at a young age. She has a daughter named Chloe. Chloe's biological father and Veronica broke up before Chloe was born. Like, probably, I guess, during the pregnancy. So along came Tim, and Tim and Veronica dated, and Tim is actually the co-parent to Veronica's daughter. And then Tim and Veronica decided not to date. And then we first met Tim on season 3 of B90 when he was with Jennifer. And we all know how that worked out. It didn't. So, and then we see Tim and Veronica mostly on Pillow Talk. And everybody's always like, oh, why don't y'all date? Why don't y'all date? And all that. Well, here's the thing. I'm not a fan of Tim. He's very bland to me. But I love Veronica. Like, I love Veronica. So Veronica, at the last season, at the tell-out last season, it was revealed that she has been talking to Kim's son, Jamal. Kim, that was with Usman. Kim Belly, her son, Jamal. And Veronica's 37, and he's 27 or 28 or whatever. So she's never dated anybody younger. And she thought he was good looking and everything. So they've been traveling back and forth from Charlotte, North Carolina to San Diego, California. And this episode, we seen Jamal at Veronica's house. He got up, cooked her breakfast, started cracking eggs, and started doing a little sexy pose and all that crap. And Veronica said that, when they first started talking, they weren't exclusive. Like, they were still like messing around with other people. They just had like an open thing going on when they first started. But now they're deciding to give it a shot and be exclusive. So Veronica said that he is really bad at communicating. He doesn't text back or not, and she doesn't want to be heartbroken by him. And he doesn't want to see that insecurity from her. So if he doesn't want to see it, he needs to step up. I'm kind of curious to see how their relationship is going to play throughout the season. I'm really pulling for them. I'm just hoping he doesn't do nothing that messes it up. But also, what we're going to see is Tim is still going to be in the picture. And Tim, and he's shown here on The Single Life, Veronica takes him to this like singles event where he gets to meet people and stuff. And Tim, like he's not a big social person and everything, which is fine. So it was a little uncomfortable for him being in a setting like that. He goes in this setting. He starts talking to this one woman. He goes up to this African American lady, and she was like 47. He's like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm 10." I think her name was Rhonda, and everything. And she said she's 47. Then he said something that I don't know. It could have came. It wasn't offensive, but it could have came off offensive. When she said she was 47, he was like, "Oh, what did?" Like he said something about her skin tone. Like you must you have really good skin tone, or take care of your skin tone, or something. I'm just like, what do you mean skin tone? Like you're talking to an African American lady, and then you say skin tone like that. Now, again, did he mean no harm? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna press that. But it was just kind of weird that he said that and everything. So then after that, they had that conversation, and then he actually runs into this girl that he actually knows. Her name is like Lucena or something, and she's Colombian. And he has met this girl online before, but never in person. But coincidentally enough, he runs into her at this event, and then they started talking. And it looks like, judging by the previews for next week, they're gonna be, going on a date together and something. So they sit down and have some drinks and everything. She says she likes to cuddle and everything. He said he likes to take things slow and all that. And yeah, I mean, Tim has a thing for Colombian girls and stuff, which I don't blame him on that one, because Colombian girls are very pretty, very pretty. So I don't blame him on that one. But it's just that his bland personality, his just like like he gets a lot of, and I talked about this in another video back on when they were on the Other Way Tell All. He gets a bad rep because of his sexuality, because he's straight, but people think that he is gay even though he's straight. My thing is that what I noticed with Tim is that, I always say that he's bland and stuff, but the only time I see him light up is when Kenny is around. Kenny, that's with Armando. Every time he's with Kenny, he lights up and is in a great mood and smiling. But and I don't see that much anywhere else. So, I maybe he may have a crush on Kenny. Armando called him out on it and he denied it, but I don't know. I think like he he smiles more when he's around Kenny. He's excited when Kenny's around, but everything else, he's just bland. He's even bland around Veronica. So I don't know. I just not been a fan of Tim. I mean, he's a nice guy. He keeps it real. And I respect that, but it's just his bland personality. It's just really, I don't know. It's kind of annoying. So that's why I'm not a fan of Tim. So we'll see how he does here on The Single Life as well. And I hope he doesn't interfere much with Veronica and Jamal's relationship. I know by the previews, I know him and Jamal are going to get into it. So we'll see how that plays out. So yeah, that was Jamal, Veronica, Tim. And the last person I want to talk is poor Tyray. Tyray. This girl, Tyray was supposed to go on, you remember Tyray, he's been catfish, and he asked the girl out that he met at his cousin's funeral or whatever. Her name was Tiffany. And last week's episode, he asked her out on a date, and she said yes. They were supposed to meet at a restaurant. He goes to the restaurant. He had flowers. He was all dressed nicely, nice restaurant and everything. Gets seated. The date was supposed to start at 7. He's texting. He's here, on his way. He's here. Freaking Tiffany did not show up. Tyray got stood up. He got stood up. He waited an hour for this girl. Zero communication. I'm going to be late. No, can we reschedule? Flat out stood up. the server that was serving him water and wine and everything, like they interviewed her, she was like, he looked so happy when he came in, and I just felt so bad that she didn't show up. I just wanted to sit down with him and be his date himself. And I was thinking, please do. Because Tyray, I feel bad for Tyray because he this is what in my video from 90 Day Fiance about the bad boy and the good guys and all that, the nice guys and all that. Tyray's a nice guy and he's really finishing last, and this ain't fair. This is not fair. And I'm a big advocate on making the nice guys win at things like this when it comes to women and stuff. I'm a big advocate when it comes to this. So, and I want to help people like Tyray, just to get for them to be able to get a confidence boost, get a girl to put a full effort in for a nice guy as they do to a bad boy and stuff. A lot of relationships, like, they put in so much effort and trying to change the bad person, but they don't put that same effort with the good person. If the good person does something slightly wrong, they're quick to run away. But the bad boy does something wrong like all the time. They'll think, oh, I love him and he's changing. I'm trying to get him to change and all that. And I can't stand that. I digress, but back to Tyray. Him getting stood up like that, he just can't catch a break. He got catfish. Is he naive? Yes, he is very naive. He is naive because he was like, oh, maybe she ran out of gas. Maybe her car broke down. No, she stood you up, dude. He didn't want to think. He wanted to keep positive. But still, even if that would happen, she would have communicated. So I just feel for him. So poor Tyray. Tyray. Anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. We didn't see Miss Debbie. Next week's episode, we're going to see Patrick's brother, John. I forgot he's going to be on the single A, so we'll see him next week. So, I can't wait to see that. But anyway, guys, that is it. The only, Natalie and Chantel, I don't know. They're starting to make me cringe. Normally, Chantel doesn't make me cringe, but now, I don't know. The ratchet behavior is starting to make me cringe a little. So, I don't know. Everybody else is cool so far. So, we'll see how it all plays out. So, I will see you guys next week when I come back and do 90 Day Fiance, because Catfish is over and I'm not doing Married at First Sight because there's not much to do. Unless something really great happens on Married at First Sight, then I will. But until then, I'll see y'all next week when I recap 90 days. So have a good one. Love you guys. Take care.